What is up, people? So today I'll be discussing how you can install Open Media Vault on your Raspberry Pi and convert your conventional Raspberry Pi into a NAS. First of all, what is a NAS? NAS basically stands for Network Added Storage. Now, to put a storage on network, basically connecting it to a network, it isn't just a simple task as compared to connecting it to a particular system or something else. But adding it to a network will be simplified after this video. We will be using a software named as Open Media Vault version 5. Moreover, there will be two power outputs that we will need in basics. One will be a 5 volt 2 amp output and the other will be a 5 volt 1 amp output. Reason being, I am using an external hard drive for this purpose, and that external drive will act as my storage device, and that requires 5 volt and 1 amps to run, whereas the Raspberry Pi requires 5 volt and 2 amps to run. Now both are running on 5 volt, so what I could have done is I would have run the hard drive from Raspberry Pi only, but to be honest, I don't want to strain the power lines of Raspberry Pi, so that's why. And keeping both the power supplies different will improve the long-term performance of both the devices, as their powers are different. But well, now first there will be an image which will show you all the hardware that I'm using. I'm basically using a Raspberry Pi 3 B plus. B plus indicates that this Raspberry Pi board has inbuilt Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card. So that's a plus point. Moving on. Now this image shows that how I am providing different power supplies, or I should say two power supplies to each of the devices and how data is connected. Now don't get confused, and if you're trying to do something similar, just remember two things, that black wire is ground and red wire is positive. Other than those wires, please don't try to cut or touch any other wire. You may interrupt the data transfer, which in long term either will decay your performance or it might even won't work. So without more talking, let's get started. We are on the page from where we will create the operating system, or I should say we will download and write the operating system to SD card for our Raspberry Pi. Make sure your SD card is minimum 8 gigs and maximum it can be 16 or 32 gigs or even 64 gigs. It's up to you, but make sure it's minimum 8 gigs. Now what you have to do, I'll link this site in the description, and you have to go to this link, and from here just download it for Windows if you are running Windows, or it's it's simple. So choose whatever operating system you're using and download it for your particular operating system, after which you have to install it. The installation is pretty basic, just like other softwares. Next, 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 yes, allow, and it will be installed. Now comes the part after this has been installed. Now what you have to do is just connect your SD card to your system. As you can see, I just did. Yeah. Well, actually, this card has an older image of Resbian, which we don't require anymore. So let's get into it by. So as you can see here, I have the Raspberry Pi imager. I have to open it. It'll ask me for permission and grant the permission. Now, here is the main thing which we need to take care of. First of all, go on choose OS Raspberry Pi OS, and from here we have to select Raspberry Pi OS Lite. It's important because uh, for for our software to work, the software which we are gonna use for our NAS, that software requires a light version of Raspbian OS. So that's why I make sure Raspberry Pi OS Lite is selected. Now select the storage. As you can see, I have my SDHC card available here, 15.9 gigs, and that's correct as it's a 16 gig card. And right, it will obviously ask me to erase all data. Yes, I allow it. You know, previously, uh, writing an Rasbian OS to an SD card wasn't this much easy and straightforward, because you have to download a separate image file from obviously Raspbian's official website. After that, you have to download a third-party software just like Balena Etcher or Win32 Disk Imager, or in fact, in some cases, Rufus also work. But now it's simple and straightforward. Everything will be taken care by this. Well, as you can see, we are already 96% there, and let's wait for it to get finished. And after that, we'll move to the device, or I should say, the Raspberry Pi. And now it's again all the way there, finishing up verifying. And after this verification, we will be inserting the SD card and the Raspberry Pi and taking the steps forward. Now, as you know, that we actually are installing Resbian OS Lite, which does not include any GUI based system. GUI basically means graphical user interface, and because of that we will be dealing with command line only. So as this verification ends and I insert the SD card in the Raspberry Pi, we will be moving to a camera view. So if you feel a little bit difference in quality, please don't mind, and I'll try my best so that everything could be explained properly and well. And the Pi is powered up. As you can see, that blinking cursor means that, yeah, the system is good and ready to go. Well, as you may know that Raspberry Pi don't have any kind of inbuilt peripherals, so I'll be using this keyboard plus trackpad so that I can configure it. One more thing that I would like to tell everyone, that please make sure you're using a 5 volt 2 amp power brick with Raspberry Pi, because if you're supplying it with a 5 volt 1 amp, then it will work but it won't be able to perform its best because of power shortage. It will lower its clock speeds. So that's why I would suggest you to use a good quality 5 volt 2 amp power brick. And further in the video, I'm gonna tell you that what I did to isolate the hard drive's power supply and Raspberry Pi's power supply. Well, as you can see, it's asking for login. So, and you might be wondering that
we haven't even set up the system or anything else. So this is basically a default ID and password that in some cases you may find while installing the Rasbian OS, and sometimes you might not. So it's universal, by the way, and it's uh, actually Pi is the, the kind of your ID, and Raspberry is your password. It's RASPBERRY. And yeah, that's exactly the thing we were waiting to see. Well, now, as you can see that it says that Wi-Fi is currently blocked. So let's settle that up. And they have even told us what we have to do. We just have to type it's RASPI. It's Raspi minus. Oh, why the heck it's a 0? Huh. Guys, I think my keyboard is acting a little weird. It's Raspi minus, whatever you say it in your language. It's CONFIG. Um, okay. So what went wrong? Yeah, that sounds logical. We have to use sudo in starting of Raspberry config. And here we are. Well, this is exactly the screen that we want to see at present. First of all, let's go to. So where do we start? So, the system options. There is wireless LAN, that is basically Wi-Fi. Well, okay. It's asking me the country, and so let me just check it. Yeah, so I found the country and I have selected it. Please enter the SSID. Okay, so it asked me to enter my IP manually. Well, for that I have to check because I myself don't remember what my SSID is. Okay, I got it. So it's FBI. FBI gateway G5. Just don't ask me why I named it that. It was just. Alright, now it's asking for the passcode. Well, don't worry, I'm gonna tell you the password. And after that was done, we are back in the menu. Now we have to go to interface options, SSH. Well, yes. Now this step is really important. After Wi-Fi, we have to enable SSH server in order to connect to it using PuTTY, PUTY. And if you want to do anything else, you can do it. Like at present I'm checking for any updates. Oh, there are some. Alright. And updates are done, so let's get out of here by clicking finish. And as you can see, we have that now. Because we have done all that, what I would like to do is I would like to reboot my system. So just type SUDO REBOOT. Basically, what I meant to say was sudo reboot. And yeah, it's now rebooting the system. Guys, to be honest, this is the beauty of Resbian OS command line based. It's just quick. It's really quick. Alright, it's again asking me for the login. As we remember from the previous, it's PI is our login ID and password is RASPBERRY Raspberry. Okay. It says that my password is wrong for some weird reason. Let's try it again. Pi is our email and RASPBERRY. Ah, there it is. Now here, now what we have to do is, so far we have uh, installed an operating system known as Resbian Lite on an SD card, put that SD card in the Raspberry Pi, booted the Raspberry Pi, set it up, and after that I was trying to SSH into it. It did not work. I did not work. I just don't know. It literally fried my mind now that I don't have any more brains left. Anyways, jokes apart. SSH did not work for me, so because it did not work for me, I have to like type this complete command till here. So it was a little frustrating, but after like 4 or 5 attempts, it worked. And it took 20 to 25 minutes for installation, and time may vary depending on your internet speeds or your internet traffic. After which, but yeah, I do have some screenshots which I will put on the screen so that you can have a little bit of an idea that when is the process done. After which this blog says to reboot the system, and I also says that you reboot it, and reboot is good. And after reboot, what I received is on the screen now. So this is what I received, and it has all the credentials. When you reach here, if you see clearly, I have used another command known as hostname space minus I. Now that returned my IP through which I'll be able to access 29.76, and here we are, flawless. As you can see, we are on like official login page of this Open Media Vault. Now after that, all my login credentials were in that last screenshot which I showed. For me, it's okay. So let's do it. 80. Actually, you know what? I have to get out. And oh, okay. Um, For some reason, my wireless keyboard don't want to work. Come on, man, you got to be kidding me now. Actually, I should grab another. So these are the credentials by default, and I'm not gonna save them. Uh, Storage, disk, and here is the drive. Yep, it is. It's added. Okay, advanced power management disable, sleep time disable, enable write kit. This one is represent only with the hard drive supported. So everything is fine here, and do we want to apply configurations? Yes. Here the configurations have been applied. So all the configurations are applied. Actually, we didn't did anything. So dashboard is not yet been configured. Okay. Oh, so these are basically widgets that I can put on the dashboard. Wow, that's a neat feature. Services, okay. Smart status, network interface, done. Sysinfo, right. Save them. Pretty cool. I mean, actually, let's change the password. So change password and type in your new passwords. And like this, passwords are changed. So that's why. Now next thing we have to do is with go to storage, disk, and from here, this one is our hard drive. Well, if you don't see your drive here, then just click on this one. It will scan for devices. Yeah, confirm it. After which, make sure your drive is empty because it's gonna format everything. File, it will ask for confirmation. Allow it. Confirmation. Please choose a method to wipe. It's quick and secure. Okay, what should we do? All right, it's up to you, but I'll go with quick one. Wiping the drive. Oh, all right. It's I think wiped. 1.4 max. Okay. No display data. Good. Create slash mount. I want to create XT4. Okay, let's go with the XT4. Select device. Here we have a USB 3.0, 931.51 gigs. That's correct. Click on it. Select it. Good. And save. Right. So now give it some time to reformat the hard drive and do all the shitty thing. I mean, which we don't want to do. Well, it literally took me a little bit of time, but anyways, it's done finally. So, don't- wait. I think I have to mount it. Before, as you can see, your drive is mounted. Now we have to do a share folder, and let's create a folder that will be shared among everyone. Let's say I call it movies. Select a file system. Only. Why the heck it don't want? Yeah, fine. Save changes. Okay. Now it's finally properly mounted. That's right. Let's create a shared folder. Yeah. Nah, I was waiting for this option. Name of the folder will be movies. Movie slash done. And we say read write user read and write read only. Alright. So movie is the shared folder. Let's see what else. Okay, fine. It has to save changes. Yeah, I have to do it. Okay, users of Pi to Pi origin, right? Save. Then my setting is create a new one. Create name DAKFH dot D password H 1234 1234. Now group public key and save. Save let text.tc. And now let's go to shared folder, movies, and let's say yeah. So get the privilege read only. Save. And here you have to go to SMB and let's say enable it with answer options. Yeah, there. Okay, so here you have to find or shares, so movies and browsable. Okay, great. Well, let's say we are standby shutdown. I'll actually, yeah, I'd like to reboot it. And with this, we are done. Well, to be honest, nothing more is left than it being a restart. Well, people, we are almost near to end of the video, and now I'll be showing you that how you can access the shared folders that you previously built, uh, named as movies and games. For that, what you have to do is you have to go to My Computers, nowadays generally known as this PC, and after you go to this PC, then you have to look for this option, Map Network Drive. You will most probably find it here in this upper area. Click on it. Now uh, you have to remember your media vault IP, which was this for me. For you, it may be different, 192.168.29.76. Well, let's do it then. So what you have to do in folder, just type // your IP 192.168.29.76, one more backslash, and then name of the folder and return. And it is that simple. Now, when you will be doing it for the first time, it's the Windows will ask you for user ID and password. There you have to put your Open Media Vault user ID and password. Now it depends on you that whether you're gonna use the particular system on which you're logging in this Open Media Vault as an admin system, or you just want them to just access the files. And after that, let's repeat this step one more time, and let me map my other drive as well.
But this time what I'll be doing is, see, so it is that simple. Finish. So here I am with both the drives. And now, if while transferring data, for some reason you're getting a weird message saying that you need permissions, then what you have to do is just go to storage, share, and click on any of them. Obviously, on which you're getting the message, click on access control list, and here you see this, you know, others like read, write, and execute. Well, if it's on read and write, then make it on to read, write, and execute. Because what it will do, it will allow to you know upload and download the data. Well, so it's okay on my side. It was a fun tech tip. Let's try to transfer some data over to these files. Let's say I go to pictures and camera roll, and let's say. Okay, so let's copy this GTR image to our media drive. So simply click on copy, movies, Control plus V, and there we are.